Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing this Ice and Fire makeup look inspired by the premiere of the final season of Game of Thrones. And if you want to see how I did this, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I started with my brows by using the Revolution Pro brow pomade, and I basically did them the way I usually do. And then I went first with my eyes side and I primed my lid with the Kiko Neutral Eye Base. I started with the NYX Ultimate Brights palette by using the lightest blue and using this one as a transition. Then I used the Revolution Life on the Dance Floor Sparklers palette and I used the light blue shade on my crease. Then I took the dark shimmer blue shade and packed it all over the lid. And I went again with the NYX palette with the dark blue to blend the edge and make it a little bit more blue and less turquoise. Then I used the white shadow on the Revolution palette to lighten up the top of my eye, and again the dark blue on the NYX palette to blend all of the colors together. Then I primed the other eye, and I started with the dark yellow on the NYX palette and using that one as a transition. Then I took the orange color and blended it on my crease. And then I took the red and I packed it on my lid, just like I did with the blue on the other side. I blended the edges. And then I took the Delancey Nocturne eyeshadow palette and the shade Scorched and packed that on top of the red. Then I took again the orange shadow and added a little bit more on the crease. For eyeliner on my fire side, I used the NYX Epic Ink Liner. And I started by creating a wing and then doing the usual winged liner. And for my eyes side, I took this white eyeliner that I bought on AliExpress. It was the first time I used it and I don't exactly recommend it. I didn't like it, but for the effect it was enough. I found that it was a little bit hard and not very opaque, especially on top of the blue shadow. Then for my top lashes, I used the L'Oreal Paradise Aesthetic Mascara. And I used this one on both sides. Then to start my face, I used the NYX Pore Filler Primer in the T-zone and around my nose where I have the biggest pores. And I also added a little bit more of the white eyeliner. For foundation, I used the Primark My Perfect Color in the shade Sand and also the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer in white. And on my fire side, I used only the foundation and I blended it with a sponge very carefully to not go to the other side of the face. And then on my eyes side, I used the foundation mixer with just a little bit of foundation, and I used a small stippling brush. And then a sponge to get rid of the brush strokes. For concealer, I used the Revolution Conceal and Define, and I used this one only on my fire side. And then on my eyes side, I used again the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer. For my eyes side, I used the Revolution Pro Pressed Finishing Powder. And then for my fire side, I used the Essence Mattifying Compact Powder. Then I took the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette and I used this cool toned shade to do a very light contouring on my eyes side. And then to make it more dead, let's say, I used the dark blue on the NYX Brights palette. And I used a very light hand from the contours on my face and dragging it a little bit in. For a very light blush, I used the Blushing Hearts by Our Heart Revolution, and I used the lightest colors. And for highlighter, I used the Soft X highlighter palette, and I used the lightest color. And I also used it to highlight the inner corner, the brow bone, and the Cupid's bow. Then I used the dark blue on the NYX palette to finish the lower lash line, and also the light blue on the Revolution palette. And finally blending those two with the lightest blue on the NYX palette. Then to finish the other eye, I started with the red on the NYX palette, and then the orange, and finally I blended everything with the dark yellow on the NYX palette. Then I thought I would hide it, but I added black mascara on my bottom lashes on my fire side. And I used the Kiko Everlasting Kajal on my waterline on both eyes. And I used the white liquid liner on my bottom lashes, and I also added it to my top lashes to make them pop more. For bronzer on my fire side, I used the darkest color on the NYX contour palette. And I used it quite heavily to give it a really bronze look. Then I wanted kind of an orange blush, so I used the Revolution gradient highlighter, but I took the darkest side. And for highlighter I used again the Soft palette and I took the gold shade and used it to highlight the high points of my face, just like I did on the other side. Then to add a little something else, I took again the Delancey palette and I used the red and blue glitters on each corresponding side. And finally for my face I wanted a little bit more warmth on my fire side, so I took the orange on the NYX palette and I did the same thing just like I did with the blue on the eyes side. Finally for my lips I used the Revolution metallic liquid lipstick in Regent for my fire side. And then I used the Essence Metal Shock lip paint in blue for my eyes side. If you have any questions, I will leave all of the makeup that I used listed in the description box. Okay, and this is the finished look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you're excited to watch Game of Thrones. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up and you can also subscribe for new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and thank you so much for watching.